Today, the government showed again it is dangerously arrogant and dangerously hostile to free speech. It's not just its new so-called disinformation bill. It's not just its wars to force tech giants to censor our debates. Today, backed by the Greens, it trashed a century of parliamentary practice to shut down a politician trying to raise a critical debate. This was an attack on our democracy. Which debate? Well, you might recall Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, as recently as last year, claimed to have no trouble defining what a woman really was.
What is a woman, Prime Minister?
An adult female.
Good answer. But guess what happened when One Nation leader Pauline Hanson decided, fine, well, let's change the Sex Discrimination Act, reverse the changes made under the Gillard government to say exactly that, to take out the words saying your sex is what you call your gender identity, and say that a man is a member of the male biological sex and a woman a member of the female biological sex. Isn't that exactly what Albanese told the media? And isn't that what biological textbooks say? Now, the reason Hanson wanted this change now is that a federal court judge has just ruled that your sex isn't really what you're born with. Essentially, you can make it up. He said an internet chat group for women had been wrong to exclude a transgender activist called Roxanne Tickle. And Hanson, like many Australians, thought this decision was plainly ridiculous. The law had to change. Now, I'd bet that most Australians would agree, or would at least want to hear both sides of this debate in our parliament. But here's what the government did last week and again today. It banned that debate. With the help of the Greens, it refused to let Hanson have a first reading of her bill to change the law. Now, let me explain what that means. To get a law passed, you first have to have what's called a first reading of your bill, your planned legislation. That's just to say, here it is, have a look. Then there's a second reading where it's actually debated and voted on, and then a third reading to make it the law or not. Now, that first reading is in virtually every case a formality. I mean, you could go through years and never have Parliament vote to say, no, you can't even put your bill before Parliament, shut up. But Labor and the Greens did exactly that last week and again today. The Liberals try to fight it, with Senator Claire Chandler, a fighter for women's rights, rightly amazed by Labor's intolerance and hypocrisy.
When he was seeking the vote of women, he unequivocally said that a woman is an adult female. But today, his government, along with the Greens, blocked the introduction of a bill that attempted to confirm in law that a woman is a member of the female sex. They claimed it was dangerous for the parliament to even be able to debate a bill which would have clarified exactly the same position that the Prime Minister himself pretended to agree with 2 years ago.
And Pauline Hanson was, of course, furious today at being censored.
Listen to the Australian people. They want debate on this. They want answers. They want common sense to prevail in this parliament. They don't want to be shut down. You have no right to do it to the Australian people. And stop shutting me down every time I raise something you don't like.
In return, Labor and the Greens just vilified Hanson and the Liberal Senate leader, Simon Birmingham, for sticking up for her right as an elected politician to present her legislation by the usual rules. No argument from Labor and the Greens, just abuse and inarticulate rage.
What we just saw from Senator Birmingham was a quisling concession to far-right, an attempt to weasel the way into the outrage debate by hurting little kids.
This disgusting rhetoric, this disgusting level of debate, as is the broader Australian community. Disgraceful act of political disgust. It's just disgusting.
You know what hurts little kids and what is disgusting? It's that Labor and the Greens still haven't learned from Britain's Cass inquiry that helping even teenagers to change their gender can cause much more harm than good. That mutilating people who are often troubled cannot be always a cure, but a tragedy. But that's not what Hanson's bill was even about. It was about making the law conform to what even the Prime Minister says is the definition of a woman. And to that, Labor says, shut up, and we'll trash Australia's Parliament to make you. And you must ask, if they will do this to even an elected politician, what would these bullies do to your free speech?